Kat, and in this tutorial I'll show you how to make this Happy Hanukkah garland that I have hanging behind me using just ribbon, puff paint, and hot glue.
For this project you'll need some scissors, some really heavyweight ribbon at least 2 inches wide, some narrower ribbon to actually write your letters, and some cording and extra decorative trim to finish it off. You'll also need a hot glue gun, hot glue, and some blue puff paint. Start by measuring your ribbon. Mine measured 2.5 inches wide, therefore I decided to cut it into 3-inch strips. You don't want these perfectly square, but you also don't want to run out of space for your lettering. Once you cut one, just use it as your measurement for each of your other pieces, and cut as many as you're going to need to spell Happy Hanukkah, plus make a Star of David. I used the mesh pattern to make sure I was cutting these straight, and then once I'd cut all of my pieces, I cut the chevron from the bottom. Make sure you cut your chevron as evenly as possible, but don't stress about getting them perfect. I didn't measure mine, I just cut them in whatever way looked right. Then take some hot glue and run a bead of that along the cut edge of your chevron on each of your tabs to make sure that your ribbon won't fray. Once you've done that, set all of your tabs aside to dry, and then you're ready to start making the letters. Start by applying your hot glue onto the tab, then cut each of your lines of your letters out of your narrow ribbon and apply that as you go. Be careful not to burn yourself, and I find it's easier to try and just make sure all the letters are the same height rather than stressing about cutting them ahead of time and making them all perfectly matched. Just do your best. Once that's done, take your blue puff paint, tap it on a hard surface, and then squeeze out the very beginning so you don't get a big glob on any one of your tabs. Make sure you tap it on a hard surface as you go so you're getting air bubbles out of your puff paint. Otherwise, you may be going along and suddenly an air bubble will pop out and you'll get a big gooey glob and it's going to ruin your tab. So just make sure that you're paying attention to that, outline everything very carefully, and then set those aside in a very safe place to dry. Once everything is dried, take your cording, still attached to its spool, and starting about 2 feet in from your cut edge, start applying your first tab. Apply your first tab using a nice big bead of hot glue, then press it into place, and apply some more hot glue over the top of that, and use some of your flat decorative trim and apply a nice piece over the top of that on the opposite side of the cording, just to cover up that rough edge on the tab. That way you don't have to look at it and it's nice and neat. Apply your next tab about 1.5 inches over from that one, and just keep going until you've gone through all of your tabs. Once you've done that, line up your first tab with your last tab, and then use that to gauge where you need to cut all of your cording off of your spool. That way each end of your garland is the same length, and then seal that off with some hot glue so it doesn't unravel. Hang it up on your wall, and that is your finished Hanukkah garland. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, remember to like, share, and subscribe.